back to the main point, though. What's Bobby going to do?
Well, what do we once again, we're only armed with what we've seen happen recently, right? So what we've seen happen recently.
As your last fight.
We saw Robert Whittaker attempt to implement the same game plan against Isreal Adesanya that Kelvin Gastelum did successfully, which is the art of the hard reset. But what happened in that contest?
He got touched up.
Isreal Adesanya learned from his contest with Kelvin Gastelum, learned how to maintain that distance, learned not to be complacent on those resets because at any point in time another strike can be coming. Robert Whittaker tried to move forward, but amongst moving forward and meeting a wall, instead of him continuing his momentum, what do they teach you in football? Say when you hit the back of the pile, they tell you to gotta keep driving your feet. You can't stop going. Robert Whittaker hit the back of that pile. He stopped.
He had to reset and try again.
Instead of continuing to move forward, because I'm 6'8", I'm a long fighter. I fight long. When you spar me, and you're a good fighter, I'm probably the only person in the gym that you don't consistently touch up. If you, every time you decide to take one step forward, I take a step backwards and throw a strike, what happens if you don't continue to come forward?
I'm just going to get hit again.
How many times?
As many as you want, realistically.
Until what happens?
I go, get out of the way. Or gotta go forward or backwards.
Or the bell rings or your bell rings. Robert Whittaker's attempt to master the art of the hard resetting against Isreal Adesanya did literally all but that. He got stopped like by a brick wall at every single entrance that he had. I think he's going to run into something real hard off Jared, man. I think he's going to run into something right down the pipe. It's not going to be good.
He's not. Robert doesn't do anything spectacular. Like, when you see him knock guys out, he's knocking out guys like a Brad Tavares or a Jacare, who has developed good striking over the years, but he's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's not knocking out strikers. I mean, he went this hard decision against Biggie Rhodes, who's just like he's just a crafty dude, all around good striker, grappler, nothing special, and he's going to decision with guys like that. So I don't know what he's going to do when Jared's laying into him. We've seen what happened with Izzy. That was only 5 months ago.
That was only 5 months ago.
Not even 5 months from now, but 5 months from the day they fight.
October 5th is the date of which Robert Whittaker lost a few brain cells fighting Isreal Adesanya.
Creeping up on 3 months ago.
And March 7th is UFC 248, which is where Jared Cannonier and Robert Whittaker are going to be fighting.
And Jared's coming off of 3 TKO wins in a row, barely taking any damage.
Robert Whittaker is coming off of surgery, Yoel Romero, rest, surgery, Yoel Romero, rest, getting knocked out, and immediately going into probably the strong. Can you say that Jared Cannonier is the heaviest striker at middleweight currently? Yoel Romero, Polacosta included, because Yoel ain't hitting like I thought he hit.
Strike for strike, probably.
So he's going against the hardest hitter in the division. And he just got beat up by this. He's got knocked out by a punch by the skinniest guy in the division.
Precision
beats timing, or precision beats power.
Timing beats speed.
And guess what? Having a fresh chin, a fresh body beats being old and broken, Robert. I don't think this fight's going to go easy for you, buddy. I'm sorry. If Robert Whittaker decides to close his eyes and go 50-50 with Jared Cannonier, the same way he did Isreal Adesanya, it's not going to go well for him. It didn't go well for him against Isreal Adesanya because Isreal is a technician, a tactician, a sniper. He was able to see through the fray and put those, like you said, precise time shots in there. Jared's going to say, okay, we want to close our eyes? I'll close my eyes. I came into this fight with a blindfold on anyway. Let's get it, Rob.
But at the same time, over the recent few fights at 185, Jared seemed way more technical, way more composed in the pocket.
You think he's cerebral?
So he seems a lot more so than when he was at heavyweight. I mean, he's definitely not on the level of someone like Isreal, but he was composed in the pocket against Anderson. Anderson was doing his Wing Chun nonsense against the cage, and Jared stayed calm, caught him with punches in the clinch, separated. Was outstriking one of the best strikers ever with low kicks. You know what I'm saying? He's a power puncher.
Power puncher, and he's offsetting Anderson Silva with low kicks.
So he's definitely improving on the mental aspect as well as the physical. Can I ask something? What weight class did Robert Whittaker start his UFC career at?
He started his UFC career at 205, yeah?
What did you just say?
No, Robert Whittaker started at 170. Jared started at heavyweight. There's a big difference. You're carrying power down from 265 where Bobby's coming up.
As he's gotten lower in weight, what have you seen come out in his performances? Because you said he used to be a bit of an idiot at heavyweight.
Yeah, I mean, he was still really clean. He had good eyes. He could read well and counter punches, but he didn't have as many weapons and way less explosive. It kind of reminds me of Khalil Roundtree in the progression area, where the more weight he loses, he seems to get way more technical along the way as well.
That probably comes with he's being disciplined over time. So of course he's being disciplined in his technique as well. It takes discipline, man. Think about it. If you can make it to the UFC being a sloppy fat mess, you can say to yourself, "Yeah, I'm one of the best fighters in the world." You know, Derek Lewis style in it. Where's your incentive to not do that anymore?
These
Like
are
John
facts.
Jones.
Complacency.
John Jones. If he can be the greatest of all time, not train, do drugs the weekend and the week of.
So why train?
What's the point of it?
Why discipline and grind and hate myself when I can just party and still win? I don't even gotta show up to practice.
Not when you're John Jones, but apparently when you're Jared Cannonier, it makes a hell of a bit of difference when you show, and especially when you show up to leg day.
Yo,
and
he's showing up to practice. Have you seen that guy? When he was at 205, he didn't look like this. Most people don't lose 20 pounds to get more jacked.
No, we were actually we had a conversation about that. We were wondering how in the hell Jared Cannonier lost so much weight and doesn't have any folds. Doesn't have any skin
Nothing.
flaps.
No loose skin. Seemingly no stretch marks. He just filled it with water and muscles.
He didn't fill nothing with water, bro. Man got no water on him.
Yeah, not when he's at 185.
Not when he's at 185. I wonder what he walks around. That man is huge.
Robert's big too for used to being at 170 though.
But then again, what did John Kavanaugh say about Conor McGregor? He said that as you become a man, Conor, it was cool for Conor to make it 145 when he was 18 years old. Now that Conor's 30, it's a different story, man. You fill out.
I tend to agree, but Jose Aldo kind of told us otherwise.
And so did Jared Cannonier.
I think Bobby's looking at that puncher's chance right now as his only way out, which
But
we've seen that happen.
But even the puncher's chance, I think, favors Jared in this scenario. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's a terrible matchup for Robert. Not necessarily just stylistically, but just because of the timing as well. Maybe 6 months later down the road it'd be a much better matchup.
And look, I know this seems like a let's bash Robert Whittaker session, but it's not. Robert Whittaker is not a bad fighter in terms of you watching this video, in terms of us making this video. I consider myself to be a damn good mixed martial artist and a damn good fighter. And Robert Whittaker has put me to sleep 11 times out of 10.
Probably.
But when you're talking about the upper echelon of fighters, I'm sorry, but we're starting to get to the point in mixed martial arts now where the guys that were just built with heavy hands that went into the gym and learned some techniques, that's starting to get old. The days of football where you just hike the ball, run the ball up the middle, those are done with. The only way you're able to hike the ball and run it up the middle is if you give the defense an idea or an option that it's going to go to the outside or it's going to be a pass. Or you're just so damn talented that you can run it up the middle. That's been MMA
Exactly.
for the vast portion of the last 20 years. People are starting to catch up. I'm sorry, but the John Joneses, the GSPs, the Demetrius Johnsons, the ex-Conor McGregors, those people that are so far ahead of their class are going to be so few and far between coming up. Everybody's going to look equal. That's why the entertainment era and Conor McGregor talking, crap was so mesmerizing, is because we started getting to a point of plateau in mixed martial arts. Not only do we have somebody who was a fresh breath of air when it came to techniques and finishes for the first time, we also had somebody that was doing something that hadn't been seen with talking and being rambunctious and just crazy. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Those times of just being able to run the ball up the middle are over with. Those times of Robert being able just to close his eyes and go in there and throw punches, I'm sorry, it might work against me, it might work against you. It's not going to work against Isreal Adesanya, and I would almost guarantee, if you are a betting man, it's not going to work against Jared Cannonier. Robert Whittaker has to come into this fight with something more than he came into his last fight with. And I don't think that Robert Whittaker is the type of, or that Isreal Adesanya was giving Robert the type of stimulus that would be like a Conor McGregor Jose Aldo or a Conor McGregor Eddie Alvarez. He was talking, but he wasn't digging inside of Robert's brain to the point that I think that Robert, would just say, I'm just going to go in there and take this guy's head off. I think he was still able to be cerebral if he wanted to. I just don't think he was able to technically advance and do the things that he had planned on doing. I think he planned off cutting off the ring. I think he planned on getting his foot on the outside. I think he planned on putting his head in Israel's chest. But we have to understand that these fighters out there that do good at making you look bad. That's their game.
100%, because Robert didn't fight no different than he's fought everybody else. And it worked against everybody else.
Worked against Yoel Romero.
I mean, I wouldn't say it worked, but it worked enough that...
Enough that Yoel Romero didn't murder him. What happened to Chris Weidman? What happened to Luke Rockhold?
It worked enough that Paul Bergen won the fight. So
He didn't get Luke Rockhold or Paul... He didn't get kneeled. He did not get kneeled.
It's a fact.
He did not get kneeled.
He's tough. You can say that.
Done the same thing he's always done, but it didn't work against Isreal. The question is it going to work against Jared, and is Robert going to try to do something different? Because, I mean, we have seen Robert make adjustments. Like, after the Yoel Romero first fight, where Yoel destroyed his knees with low leg oblique kicks.
You're about to make me angry. He didn't make no adjustments. All he did was take one of Yoel's techniques and start throwing it.
That's what won the fight in the judge's eyes.
He didn't do anything with it.
He landed about 100 times.
He got dropped twice.
Won the fight.
No, he didn't.
Champion of the world.
Robert's lost 3 fights in a row, and nobody's telling me otherwise.
Do you think he's going to lose a 4th?
I think so, and I think after that we'll probably see him in Bellator here soon. After he loses to Jared, who's he going to fight after that?
He's going to go and fight...
Darren Till?
He's going to go fight Gegard Mousasi or...
Terrible fight for him.
Or...
He's going back to 170, and he's going to fight Douglas Lima.
Even worse fight. Tell me that Douglas Lima isn't arguably one of the best 170 pounders on the planet.
Of all time.
Who's champ 1 right now? Kamaru Usman?
Yeah.
You think that the way that Kamaru Usman fought Colby Covington is going to work if you're fighting Douglas Lima? You think if the way that Kamaru Usman fought Colby Covington is going to work against Michael Venom Page?
Maybe.
No. If it's a kickboxing match, MVP smashes the both of them. Kamaru and Colby, for that matter.
They might get inside and piece him up a little bit.
Or they might get knee in the dome.
They might. It's possible. I can't stand that dude, though, but he's talented.
There's no definitive...
Why does he keep fighting cans, though? He fights for Greg Sharp?
XFO?
That's who it looks like.
Who'd
he fight?
Black Kenny?
Do you know the name of the guy he fought?
Some Asian dude.
Nobody knows the name of the guy he fought. The announcers didn't know. They were calling him Brock Swinburne the whole time.
173-pound catch weight.
What does that even mean?
It means that one of them couldn't make the weight.
Like, he loses to one good guy, and they're like, okay, here's some more cans. He should be fighting Koreshkov or somebody. Koreshkov. Said it wrong. Andre. Should be fighting him. No, we'll fight Joe Schmo. Who works down at the ramen shop.
Good luck to Robert on this one. I think it's too soon. I can't even say that. I don't want to be that person anymore that just writes individuals off, especially individuals that are reigning defending ex-UFC champions of the world, but I don't see the skill set in Robert Whittaker. Because he's taking him down. Is he taking him down? I don't think so. Is he knocking him out? I don't think so. Can he get taken down? I don't think so. Can he get knocked out? For sure! We saw it.
I'm not a doctor or any kind of medical professional, but I've heard a couple times through the grapevine that if you get knocked dead, you should be doing no contact training for 6 months. And my man's fighting within that 6-month window. So you know he's been doing contact training already.
And if he's not, likely. So either he's not healing it properly or he's not preparing and training properly.
I mean, unless he's just doing straight strength and conditioning till the week of the fight. But even that's not, it's risky. He knows how to fight though, so I mean.
This isn't 2006. We know now you can't condition that chin.
No, can't. You gotta do the opposite. You gotta try to not condition it. Yeah, you only got so many ticks in there.
You want to leave that boy as fat as you can get.
Pristine. Crimson chin over here.
They say a knight with shiny armor has never had his armor tested. Well, you want to keep that chin as shiny as possible.
I'd rather my armor be clean and my sword be banged up.
Facts. Facts.
I don't care. I could be tested. You just don't know it. Maybe I'm that good. John Jones don't got no scars. Except for when he destroyed his toe thanks to JLP. He didn't even know.
Oh!
He was sitting in the chair just fine, and then Joe's like, dude, what's wrong with your foot? The quicksand's back.
John Jones taking me down. Laying on me.
The wrestle. Not the Olympic wrestle.
Ref, those were 12-6.
Daniel's Dunzo.
Steak and batted bitches.
Steak and eggs.